Hello everyone, my name is Yitz. I'm a life coach. I work at the Psychological Healing Center with Dr. Judy Rosenberg, and today I'm joined by Joseph, who is a former patient and graduate of the Mind Map system, which we work with at the center.
Thank you.
And of course, welcome and thank you for coming on. And today we're going to be talking about abandonment, the abandonment wound, and stuffing down your feelings. So to start, first of all, Joseph, thank you so much for joining us today. And we're going to just start with the abandonment wound. Obviously a very devastating wound because it doesn't necessarily happen in physicality. Your parents might be there, the people around you might actually exist in reality, but because you're being emotionally rejected and neglected, there's no attunement, it creates this sense of disconnect and abandonment.
Yeah.
So I know obviously you had your experiences with abandonment. If you can maybe discuss a little bit about what the effects of that are.
Well, so first off, I discovered the wound of abandonment only, it wasn't until I came in here that I discovered that. I didn't even know that that was a thing. I didn't even know the concept of that. I just knew that I felt like, I had trouble connecting with people or sharing my deep emotions. Like, if you would ask me, what's your weakness? Like, if it was like a job interview, if I wanted to get real deep, I'd be like, well, I have trouble connecting with people. I wouldn't say that in a job interview, but I have trouble connecting with people. I don't know how to like I feel closed off,
Mm-hmm.
and I could see this causing problems in my relationships. I remember with one of my first girlfriends, like I would pray at night. That was something I started doing during some years when I was very depressed, and like it helped me get through that. Something I started doing.
Yeah.
And she kind of like looked at me, she was sleeping next to me, and I had my hands like that, and she was like, what are you doing? And like, I couldn't even tell her, I couldn't even tell her that. I was like kind of embarrassed about it. Like I was like, nothing,
Yeah.
And it's just cause that was like a personal thing, and I couldn't even talk about it to this woman that we were in love with each other.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think that plays into the idea that even if we do something that makes sense or that we could explain, because we feel like what we do is worthless or maybe it's not valid, we tend to believe that other people don't really understand what we're going through.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that might have been the case. And one of the issue with the abandonment wound is that it creates this unbelievable deep sense of really I'm not important. And it also abandonment, the abandonment wound and abandonment in general leaves you in a very, very difficult spot because there really is no context for your traumas. They kind of are nowhere, and you kind of are in a no man's land, which is very confusing, very chaotic. So the only emotions that we do have, it's not that our emotions just disappear. In some ways, they're kind of distorted and replaced with trying to just survive and cope. And part of the healing journey that we want to do is we want to get in touch with these emotions and kind of take them away from reacting to the trauma, and then kind of heal that and work with that so we can bring it back to reality so that your emotions are kind of in line with what's actually going on in front of you. Do you feel like in some ways your emotions were still kind of dealing with, that you spent so much time learning how to cope with these emotions, that became the only reality where your emotions existed?
Yeah. I know one thing that you've taught me about is like the negative core belief, and one thing I always thought, like I truly went around the world thinking this, I thought that I was just alone and everybody else was completely alone. They were all in the same boat. And like if we helped each other out, that was just, like a transaction or something, Like, even though logically I look around and I have like friends, girlfriend, I have family, like people ask about me, like, how you doing, man? Like, are you okay?
You're not actually alone, but it feels like you're alone.
Logically, I'm not alone, but emotionally I was like, like when I thought about that, it would, you could feel it inside, and that's how you know it's it's something, right?
Yeah.
And so that was what governed all my behaviors, because I just believed that I was alone because of the wound of abandonment, and that's how I reacted to everything.
Yeah, and it's an emotional wound. So obviously there's no physical scars. There's no way of identifying what it is outside of your feelings. So if our feelings are maybe if we're not even allowing ourselves to feel our own feelings and express them, then there's no way we can even identify that there's a wound here. It really affects all our decision making, all the way we cognitively process information, the way we interact with people. It quite literally, when our emotions are not being used for what's going on in front of you. Essentially, they're being kind of held hostage in the past with your traumas.
Yeah.
We can't really we can't interact with life and people in a way that's healthy. We become very reactive because we all we really start to believe that people are going to do the very same thing that our parents did, or even our partners, or whatever it is, early trauma. We believe that, again, the belief system that gets created because of this wound is quite literally people are not necessarily good, or they don't understand you, like you said, and even though you might be around people, you are going to feel alone. So, abandonment is a wound that is very, very insidious, and it really affects every aspect of your life. And I know you went through the mind map system, and you quite literally shifted in so many ways, and it's still a battle to continue to heal. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you were able to get that context for the chaos that was your life, so you can identify that you were even abandoned.
Yeah, well, first, I mean, it took like an honest look at my life and just the different things in my childhood, and like stuff like, whatever fights I went through with my parents, or like what I would consider like important events, that were traumatic, whatever traumatic means to one person, what it meant to me was I would be left, in this state where I just felt so alone after like, fighting with my parents or something, watching them fight with each other. So it took like a really like honest look and examination at those different events, things that I like would refuse to even like let my mind go near. Like if I started thinking about like the way I felt when I was a teenager after something happened, like I feel like don't think about that. Let's just like
don't think about that. Defending against it. Why would you want to experience the same pain you've already experienced back in the day? First reaction, let's just run away from that. That's not fun. Yeah. Yeah.
So the first step is to confront that. Even if I felt, I don't know, ridiculous or embarrassed to do so, which is like part of the wound.
Yeah, that's all. It all locks you into that double dungeon of darkness that we talk about. The mom and the dad, unreachable. It really locks our heart. It disconnects our heart from ourselves and from other people. So I want to thank you, Joseph, for coming on and being so open about your story. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel below, like and share this video if you gained anything from it, and we will be posting many more videos to help you along your healing journey. And thank you so much again for watching.
Thank you.